name's Nick. I have a question, but I'm prefacing it with a statement. I was at the first community meeting, and I actually asked Chief Suhr questions, but I prefaced it with this. In Houston, the Houston Police Department acquired tasers in 2004, and a report looking over their use in 2004-2007 found that they looked at 1,000 cases where tasers, or 1,000 cases where force was used, and 127 of these encounters were when tasers were used against the mentally ill. 94 of these cases were incidents where these people were actually unarmed. And the reason I'm saying this is because the article was saying that the majority of the officers, or the majority of the dispatchers, were forewarned about the person being in mental crisis, that it was an episode of mental health crisis or a psychiatric need. But the article also said that almost never were specially trained officers informed or implemented or dispatched properly. So I'm prefacing it with that because the last community meeting, or the first one I attended, I asked how many dispatchers were trained, and I believe you said 5. Is that still about right? So according to the Department of Emergency Management, there's about 25 to 30 officers in the swing shift. That's when the most dispatchers are. That's when the most dispatchers are on, about 20 to 35. And there's about 150 total. So I'm just wondering if you think that 5 dispatchers out of 150 is sufficient to truly implement the CIT program in a robust fashion, as you say it is. If you think that 5 dispatchers is enough to handle the 10,000 annual calls that come in regarding mental needs.
Not a dispatch, no.
Okay, so what is going to be done about that? How long has it taken for those 5 dispatchers to be trained, and why has it taken?
We've met with the dispatch supervisors that run DEM, and really it's a call intake issue where we're working with them to design call taker intake questions that will designate a call as a SIT appropriate call for service and then go to the channel. There are really no issues to us moving forward with it, and in fact, it's being used in the order for responding to calls for service for people mentally ill, in crisis, and armed. The call intake standards are designed to elicit the sort of information that would identify a person in crisis, and that very same series of questions will be asked to dispatch the SIT officers. So in fact, all the dispatchers will be controlled by policy. Having 5 people trained in the full program is advantageous for them to understand the whole workings of it. But we're going to model it after what we're already doing there.
I also think it's important, though, I see a couple of retired, kind of legendary police officers here, that when communications used to work for the police chief, communications didn't work for me, they work for somebody else. So I can only ask, I can't tell communications to do.
That's good to understand. Thank you. Just because you have been describing it as a robust CIT program, and clearly from Memphis's, actually, as he was saying, you guys are...
Were you here when I told you how many people Memphis shot last year?
No, I wasn't, but I was...
We shot 55 people last year, we shot 6.
How many of them were mentally ill?
They couldn't tell me because they said they don't quantify.
All right, well, so I mean, obviously our police force is trained somewhat better than Memphis's. I would say they are. I'd say they're better trained than Houston's, and I'd say they're better trained than Portland. That we do have a good police force, more or less, here. My question, yeah, I asked my question. I'm just saying that I think that it goes beyond training of just the officers, and that we do handle community policing well, we handle demonstrations and protests well. However, the data speaks for itself, and historically across the United States, when tasers are introduced, they do not reduce police shootings, and actually in-custody deaths increase over 500%. Thank you.